Beardos, Widows, Balls, Goals, how are you all doing? Today we've got a bit of a mystery. Ooh, I like a bit of a mystery. So this has been sent in via Facebook by a viewer of the channel. And this comes from Haunted Museum and Spirit Shop in Stoke. I've seen a few teams here. Never seen anything that ultimately proves that anything there is haunted. But other than that, I don't really know too much about it. So the clip you'll have just seen is what is apparently a haunted doll moving of its own accord. Now, I've only watched this once on my phone, couldn't spot anything immediately fake, but can I debunk it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Could it be a natural explanation? Is it supernatural? Or is it trickery? I don't know, but we're going to take a look. So, this gentleman that's in frame there, I believe he's the owner, and we're going to frame by frame this, because he is moving in the room. This doll hasn't just sort of moved on its own accord with nothing around it. The first thing we need to look at, the floor. Floorboards, there's a table that is sat on, it's leaning against a mirror. Has this gentleman's weight shifted these floorboards enough just for this to simply turn on an axis because it's leaning against a mirror? Or are we going to spot masking and cuts and the like? Who knows? Let's go frame by frame with his movement. There's a lot of artifact in this because it's a CCTV camera, so I'm not as concerned with that being some form of the trickery. Right, he's moving, the doll is not. That doll move then? No, it's just artifacting. Yeah, there's a bit of movement there in the doll's clothing while he moves. I don't think there's any sort of masking or anything. Just artifacting. It does appear that the doll's clothing, this area of the doll's clothing is moving. Now, is that moving before the doll? Meaning it's pulled? Can't see a wire. Yet. I'm looking at the curtain to his left, the black curtain at this side. I'm looking at this to see if there's any movement there to give away that there's maybe a string attached to the clothing there, pulled across. Can't see it. Just looking for it. Right, there's no glints or anything to give this away. I've upscaled this quality as much as I can. And she turns. There's something off with this. So I'm looking at this yellow or beige colour mark there. Maybe a reflection of his arm. Also looking at the hair. That hair movement there. There. See, while he's passing, there's little bits of artifacting. Like this. Is that the image doubled there? His face looks weird in the reflection. This could just be artifacting. It looks like there's a double image snaps on. Maybe not. Yeah, there's something shifting in his reflection and down this curtain. There. The shadow there extends. His ear changes shape. The text on his t-shirt is doubled up. The doll's dress has moved. Now this, see, his legs are moving there. But why is this doll's hand moving in one frame? And his reflection there, which I think is his arm in that position. His arm isn't actually moving here, but it is in the mirror. This is just one frame. I'm going backwards and forwards. There's so much movement in that. I can't tell if that is two videos snapping over and bleeding through, or if it's just really bad artifacting because this isn't a 4K camera. Obviously, it's been uploaded to Facebook. I've downloaded it, uploaded it back into my editing software, so that's compressed it, but then I've tried to upscale it so I can see better. Really difficult to tell, but that doesn't look right to me, unless what I thought was the crook of his arm moving there is the reflection of the doll's arm moving. But that would mean that this doll has pulsed his fingers. Right, so that movement there. That movement there seemed fine. Once the doll has finished moving, all of this artifacting has stopped. It's weird though, there was all that artifacting only while the doll was moving, and afterwards not as much. The curtains are not. Wait, what was that? Right, his reflection is showing some weird... This looks like that crinkle in his t-shirt. Why is it disappearing? And at the exact same time it's disappearing, why is there a black blob showing up in this mirror that shouldn't be there? I've got a zoomed in image here. Obviously the pixelation is terrible, there's not a lot I can do about that. We're just going to see if there's any telltale signs on this zoomed in. Because the artifact on this camera is terrible, which may be making me think there's some masking involved when there's not. See, this looks suspicious, this looks suspicious, but the doll isn't moving yet. There's no need for a mask to be here. So I think that everything that looked like some sort of weird masking technique has just been the camera artifacting. Can't tell what's in his hand there. Since until this point, where the doll starts to move, it is pointless there being a mask involved. So this artifacting, I think, is just that artifacting. While that may look like there's a mask being used, I don't think there is. The body definitely turns before the head. Now, why is that image so fuzzy and then so much cleaner there? I can't see a wire. The artifacting is really making this difficult to work out. Because the artifacting is making it look like there's more happening in this video than it really is. You know, this shadow up here, we zoomed in and it's lost so much quality that there's just this weird pulsing everywhere. This is laborious. I don't even know if it is fake. Right, I know what that weird shadow was there that snapped in. It's actually his arm moving. Yeah, that shadow in the mirror that looked odd because of the pixelation when you zoomed in, it's his arm. Interesting. Okay, so one more time we'll play it in full and then I'll give you guys my thoughts. I'm going to play more than one more time. There is a weird snap on there. There. And then he moves. And then bang. I've got a few thoughts here. My first thought is, that is not a haunted doll that has moved of its own accord. I don't believe so. My second thought is, due to the matrixing and artifacting of the video, I can't really make things out as clearly as I would like to. But there seems something off there. His reflection in the mirror doesn't behave, but that could be something to do with the way the angle of, or the mirror is angled. There's some weird snap-on things going on there. For example, he walks past the doll. As it starts to turn, there's like a snap-on of pixels that are not as blurry and dense. It cleans up for a few frames. And then as he passes back, they snap back off like he's walked out of a frame and into a frame. But I think that is just down to artifacting as opposed to any trickery. It could convince you that there's some trickery involved there, but... Or, finally, he's walking around a rickety building. I've seen people in this place and, you know, the floors make a lot of noise and things move of their own accord when you're walking around because bare wooden floors, they're probably very creaky. It could just be that that gentleman, who's a thick-set man, has walked across... The floorboard has creaked or moved or bounced a little, and that doll is just sort of... We'll pretend this is the doll and this is the mirror. The doll is sort of leaning there, and as he's walked, the floor has bounced and it's just caused the doll to do this. Just fall against the wall in the mirror. Initially freeze framing it, I'm like, this looks fake. Masked in. and all the usual nonsense, but because of the quality, I don't actually think that's the case. I think it's a more natural explanation of a large gentleman has walked forward, caused the floor to move or sag or bounce or spring somewhere, and it's just caused that doll to pivot on an axis because it's leaning against a mirror, and this pretty much the wall that the mirror is leaning against has stopped it while it's turning. Couldn't see any wires, couldn't see any wire removal tool stuff in there. I was looking at the curtains in the background to see if there was a little pull from somebody hiding behind them. I couldn't see any of that. And I'm not confident enough to say that the artifacting is a sign of masking. It's just too poor quality footage for me to say one way or the other. So I'll go with a logical explanation of this guy has just walked past. As he's walking past, it's caused the doll to tip. And it's been captured on CCTV. So probably not fake. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the Haunted Museum and Spirit Shop in Stoke. 14k likes, 23k followers. We're at a museum who own over 450 documented haunted artifacts, including the original front door from 30 East Drive. I wish there was a way I could verify that. I mean, maybe they got certification or something, but that's pretty cool. Are they actually Lorraine Warren's glasses? Well, I've got my opinions on the Warrens. Doesn't mean everyone has to share them. How many haunted dolls has he got, though? I don't know what this stuff is. Is that a Dybbuk box? Haunted Museum Stoke Dybbuk boxes are not real. It was an internet hoax. And then they made a movie based on the internet hoax. Wait, is that a vampire hunting kit? Haunted Museum, what's this? Commonwealth, Massachusetts Public Health Registry Vital Records. It's Lizzie Borden's death certificate. Book now for the ultimate paranormal experience for award-winning location. The Haunted Museum in Stoke for paranormal investigation like no other. Over 500 artifacts, one of the most haunted locations and case files worldwide. A collection of real-life serial killer relics. 13 featured areas, over 3 built. Jesus, this place is massive. ITV Travel, paranormal caught on camera, unexplained portal camera this morning. Really? ITV? Ghost hunts, guided tours, past life regression, tarot and angel reading, spirit boards, spirit boxes, private hire. I wonder if they captured anything else there that's worth me looking at. Ooh.
And on the 16th of November 2024, where the puppet forcibly flies to the left of itself and onto the floor. As if this isn't bizarre enough, having been placed back on its shelf and never touched in the meantime, the puppet again moves forward off of the shelf by its own accord on the 17th of April 2025, 5 months later. This time, it falls in the other direction. As you
I think that could be just what we've witnessed with this other doll, that it's just fallen over. Now, I have this thing with the paranormal. If something appears to be good to be true, it probably is, and it's probably bullshit. It's not like the other museum that I've looked into that own a page and channel that are using DR60s and that are guaranteed to get themselves false positives. So I'm not going to say that this is fake. I am very, very suspicious of that many haunted artifacts in one building, but I can't just dismiss it off 2 videos of dolls falling. I can dismiss the dolls falling as gravity, vibrations, and things like that. We've only got their word to take for it that there was 5 months in between because of the CCTV dates. It could have happened more, and it's not been recorded. We don't know. Something like this, I would actually like to go and investigate in person. Now, whether the Haunted Museum and Spirit Shop in Stoke know who I am or not is besides the point. I mean, they could know who I am and never want me to go near there because it's fake. Or they could know who I am and want me to go there, and it's fake, and they think they can pull the wool over my eyes in order for them to say, look how legitimate we are. It's weird. I kind of wish that at times I did this with a mask, and then people wouldn't know who I was, so I could go somewhere like this to experience it without my reputation sort of preceding me. Haunted Museum and Spirit Shop in Stoke. If you do see this, and if you're up for a challenge, I would love to come to your museum, spend the night or a good few hours there, amongst your haunted artifacts to see if anything triggers when I'm there. If you're up for that, please, by all means, in my channel description, there's an email address. Use the business one. I would absolutely love to come here and see if there is something spooky going on. See if I can debunk anything with logic. If you're reputable and if you're above board, you shouldn't really have a problem with a debunker going there and being able to say, oh, actually, this naturally occurring doll falling is because of X, Y, Z. And then you can sort of say, right, we thought this may have been paranormal, but it's not. Interesting. Yeah, I saw no immediate signs of tampering or fakery or editing fakery. I didn't see anything that could say that, you know, it's 100% a haunted doll or a couple of haunted dolls levitating or moving by themselves. It just seemed like dolls doing what dolls do on occasion and falling or slipping. But I'm interested. I'm interested in this because it's not all over YouTube. It's not, you know, like certain other haunted projects where there's this massive back and forward debunkers and drama and all the rest. So this is something quite new to me, so it's interesting. Paranormal investigations from £30 per person. Doesn't seem to be overly priced. I mean, if you book it as a team for the night, there's in the higher the venue. I don't know how much that's going to cost, but yeah, I may reach out to these guys and see if they're up for a challenge. I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to pay to go somewhere and see if I can either debunk or confirm. I'd love for something like this to be real, because I'd be there weekly. Okay, just before we get into the video, we've had some acts of kindness from the community again. Now, we have already opened all of this in the living room. Imagine, beardos, weirdos, boils and ghouls. Imagine the day where you're a foul-mouthed, tubby interneter, and your biggest, youngest fan saves up her pocket money and spends the last of it to mock me. And I'll insert a clip here of a gift from Cassidy May Wilson. Well played, Cassidy May. Well played. That's right, she bought me a Backstreet Boys t-shirt because I hate them, and then made me wear it on a live stream. So this is a little note from Scorpion Midas. Hi Beardo, Mrs. Geek and family. I hope this finds you well and intact. First, sorry for my terrible handwriting. I can read it. I hope you enjoy these. The resin can be durable, but thin parts can break. To give the sculptor credit, they go by Flesh of Gods. I've 3D printed them and I've painted them to the best of my ability. Enjoy, Scorpion Midas. Scorpion Midas is in the Discord and asked me a few questions. And I'm like, what's this guy up to? Why is he asking so many weird questions about horror movies? He has made these sort of 3D printed tabletop figures, but he's turned them into some of my favourite horror characters. So there we've got sort of a samurai, Fred Krueger there. He's got the glove on and he's got his charred, burnt up, wrinkly face. How cool is that? How imaginative is that? It's not just a recolor because they've put the glove on. I think that's absolutely phenomenal. And we got Jason Voorhees as some sort of warrior. He's got a severed head in his hand there. Got his hockey mask on, the massive sword. He's a big beefy dude. I hope the camera's done these justice. Scorpion Midas, these are absolutely incredible, and I don't have things like this in my collection. I've got a few other things that were made for me over there from Etron. These being proper horror icons, but in a different format. They're going to go on my horror shelf up there with my NECA figures. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very, very much. And we got a Freddy Krueger card. To our lovely Beardo is very strange, but I feel like a very close friend to us, even though we have never met you. We watch every video you put out and we wait eagerly for your next one. You have helped us loads from extremely dark times. I have a severe complex PTSD, anxiety and depression, so I have a deep empathy for your beautiful wife. We lost our beautiful German Shepherds last year. We lost our dog years ago. You never get over it. But, you know, dogs are not pets. They're family members. Salem we lost in March and Pagan we lost in November. You and your videos have helped us to smile again. My husband also has CPTSD and anxiety, so he's also fighting his own demons. Literal demons. Lee, you tit. We've enclosed a few bits for you, which I hope will make you chuckle. Keep doing what you do. You have no idea who is watching you and how much you are helping them through the dark days. Enclosed is a steering wheel cover, a keyring, and some wall signs. So the steering wheel cover is Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface. This will actually be going in my car today. And I believe these are the wall signs. Backstreet Boys Into the Millennium Tour supported by Nickelback on Christmas Day 2025. The at the Oh Hell No Stadium, God knows where, beardosfault.com, admit 1. But the trolling doesn't just stop there. There's one for Little Geek and Mrs. Geek. They've been trolled as well. I will find a space on the wall as soon as I get some blue tack, and they will indeed go up. These horror figures are going up there. Pin badges wise, there was a few. I'm just trying to work out which ones are which here. So I got a Goonies, a Paranormal Investigator badge. Very cool. And I also got a Freddy Krueger keyring. That'll definitely be going on my keys. I adore Freddy, Jason, Michael, all of them. And then Mrs. Geek's got a Frog Brothers Vampire Hunters pin badge, as well as a Paranormal Investigator badge, obviously from the Lost Boys. And there's a Beer Lilith Not an Eve pin badge with a coffin, a heart and a knife with a True Crime Junkie. Mrs. Geek loves her true crime documentaries, movies, series. She watches tons of it. I'm pretty convinced that she's just trying to work out how to off me. And then we got these bat wings with I am no damsel in distress, I am a dragon in a dress. And then obviously another Paranormal Investigator badge. And a card. Do you assume all trash bags on the side of the road are body parts discarded by a serial killer, or are you normal? We'll go with the serial killer option with Mrs. Geek. Mrs. Geek, I just want to say, as a fellow anxiety sufferer, you have my full empathy. You are such a beautiful soul. It hurts my heart to know someone hurt you. You have a beautiful future ahead with your handsome husband. Don't tell him I said that. You'll get a big head. I need a big head to contain this huge ego. If you ever want to be Facebook friends with me, feel free to pop request in. I will accept it both. I'm learning to drive at the age of 49. I was in my 30s when I learned to drive because I always rode motorbikes. So I'd very much like to tour Wales one day, and if you're ever in the headspace to meet up for a coffee, that would be wonderful. Take care, gorgeous lady. You are loved by more than you imagine. Enclosed are a few bits that I hope bring you a smile to a fellow crime junkie. Remember, you are not a lady in distress, you're a dragon in a dress. Rawr. In the nicest possible way, of course. Lots of love, Mandy Priest and a Mr. Rich Priest, aka Badger. Mandy Priest, Badger. Absolutely. Wait, is that a fourth ticket? There's a fourth ticket. Who wants a fourth ticket? To a show that doesn't exist. Created just to mock me. Thank you very, very much for your acts of kindness. We love receiving this stuff. The studio's getting a bit full, but we'll just make another studio, I think. Please, Mrs. Geek. Back to the video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Have you been to the Haunted Museum and Spirit Shop in Stoke? What did you think of it? Was there anything paranormal there? Do you think it's just a bit of a hoax? I've got friends that have gone there. They've never called out anything as a hoax. So, much love to you all. Beardo out.